You must do gesture drawings. Ever heard that advice before? I certainly did when I was searching for ways to improve my character poses from imagination. So, as a good student, I followed the advice and did lots and lots of gesture drawings. And what happened? Nothing. No improvement at all. After all that practice, I still struggled with posing my characters. Honestly, I was frustrated and almost ready to quit. But suddenly, everything changed. I discovered 3 things I needed to understand to make gesture drawing effective. I'll share these with you. Number 1. What exactly is gesture drawing? Over the years, I've learned that it's always wise to start with a definition. So before we jump in, let's ask, what does gesture drawing really mean? We hear the term all the time, practice gesture drawing. But what are we really practicing? And how does it help us grow as artists? Here's a concise definition. Gesture drawing is the practice of making quick, loose, and expressive sketches that capture the essence, movement, and energy of a subject, usually the human figure. Instead of focusing on detailed anatomy or perfect proportions, gesture drawing is all about the overall action, the story of the pose. So, why is this important? Think about it. When you look at a great figure drawing, what grabs your attention first? It's not the tiny details or the perfect lines, it's the energy, the sense of movement, the feeling that the figure is alive and could leap off the page at any moment. That's what gesture drawing trains you to see and capture. This also means that gesture drawing is the first step in drawing great figures and characters. It's the essential preliminary work that beginners usually don't know about. The general process to create professional-looking characters is to go from gesture drawing to rough sketch to a finished piece. By the way, because the drawings are quick and spontaneous, gesture drawing is also a great warm-up exercise before jumping into longer drawings. Number 2, what's the goal of gesture drawing? When you start a gesture drawing, you're not worried about getting every muscle or bone in the right place. Instead, you're looking for story, the main actions that define the pose. You might spend just 30 seconds or a minute on each sketch, moving quickly and letting your hand follow your eye. The goal is not to create a finished or even a good drawing. It's about capturing the figure's action with all its energy, vitality, and effort. You can only do so much in a short amount of time after all. When you try to do more than is possible or even needed for a gesture drawing, that's when frustration kicks in. This brings a little story to mind. A few years ago, I used to regularly attend live drawing sessions organized by a friend. I remember this one session specifically where I sat next to a girl. As usual, the model took some 1-minute poses to start with. After each pose, this girl kept crumbling her paper in frustration and complaining out loud how she could not get the drawing to look right. I remember thinking, come on, relax, just have some fun. At the same time, I could empathize with her feelings because I've been there. If you don't understand the goal of gesture drawing, you've probably experienced that same frustration. Once you approach gesture drawing with the right understanding and mindset, it'll be a fun, enjoyable, and insightful experience. Instead of obsessing with creating a good drawing, approach each pose with a sense of awe and curiosity and aim to capture the model's pose in all its glory. This approach helps you loosen up and get comfortable with making bold marks. It's a great way to overcome the fear of making mistakes, because every mark is part of the process of discovering the pose. Gesture drawing also teaches you to see the big picture. When you focus on the overall movement and energy, you start to understand how the body works as a connected system. You'll notice how the weight shifts from one leg to another, how the spine curves, and how the limbs interact to create balance and rhythm. If you're enjoying the content of this video, please leave a like, share it with your artist friends, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any exciting updates. Number 3, how do you effectively practice gesture drawing? Even after filling countless pages with gestures, my character still felt stiff and lifeless. Sometimes I'd spend hours on a single character pose and still couldn't get it right. It was frustrating. I followed the advice, I put in the work, so why wasn't I improving? That frustration almost made me want to quit drawing characters. However, I let that frustration inspire me to go on a journey. I told myself, whatever it takes, I will master drawing poses from imagination. This led me to force drawing. I finally came across a drawing method with a clear system for gesture drawing, a system that made drawing poses make sense to me. Here's what I learned. Effective gesture drawing requires an understanding of how the body works to balance itself relative to the force of gravity. Wait, what? Gravity? Yes. The human body, and every object on this planet actually, is designed to work relative to the force of gravity. This reality must be considered if you want to draw believable poses. Why did no one tell me this before? How could something so fundamental be left out when others taught me about gesture drawing? That's still a mystery to me to this day. In any case, once I understood this, everything changed. Each drawing session became an exploration of how the human body works to perform different actions. I found myself drawing all kinds of poses: skaters, fighters, CrossFit athletes. It was so exciting. I constantly was looking at how the body balances itself, how weight shifts, how force flows through the body to create rhythm. Then I brought this understanding into my imagination work, and I finally felt in control. Drawing believable poses for my characters was fun again. So, if you want to practice gesture drawing effectively, don't just copy what you see. Draw to understand how the human body works. Ask yourself, where is gravity pulling? How is the body balancing? Use sweeping lines to show energy and rhythm. Let your hand follow the movement, not just the outline. Over time, this practice will improve your ability to draw figures from imagination, because you'll have a mental library of poses and movements to draw from. You'll also find that your finished drawings have more life and dynamism, because you've trained yourself to capture the essence of the pose first and add details later. Force drawing gives you a clear system, a way to break down and understand any pose. If you want to learn how to start a force gesture drawing, check the video linked in the description below. For more in-depth education, please visit drawingforce.com. There you can sign up for mentorships, memberships, courses, and so much more. See you there.